How to notate the second half of Jingle Bells. It's time to notate the second half of Jingle Bells. Get out that staff paper, draw those treble clefs, those 4/4 time signatures, and your bar lines. I hope you're in the holiday spirit. Don't forget your double bar line at the end of the song. It means the end. We are going to start our second verse of Jingle Bells on the B line. We are drawing a quarter note, just like we did in our very first measure of Jingle Bells. We love the B note in Jingle Bells. It's our favorite note in Jingle Bells. Stem down, because anything a B and above, you have the stem down. Anything A and below, the stem goes up. Again, we're drawing a second quarter note on the B line, and then we will draw a half note on the B line, just like our very first measure of the first half of Jingle Bells. So right there, you're drawing a half note. I hope you guys are noticing the patterns in the song. This is what makes a song sound like a song, all of these patterns. So the second measure, you're doing the exact same thing, just like you did on the very first half of Jingle Bells. You are drawing quarter note, half note on the B line again. Can you make a guess at what note we're going to start on? Yes, our B line again. We're getting the theme down. Yes, and it's a quarter note. Make sure that stem is going down. Hopefully this is drilling it into your head. Now we're going up to the D line, right there, and drawing another quarter note with our stem down. After that, we are drawing a dotted quarter note on our G line. You're drawing that dot right next to the note head, just like I'm going to do. This is just like the first half of Jingle Bells. These are the exact same measures. Measures 1, 2, and 3 are exactly the same as your first half of Jingle Bells. So if you get out your first half of Jingle Bells, you will see this third measure is exactly the same. Okay, now we are drawing, we are drawing an eighth note because we need another half beat. We're drawing our eighth note, so we're filling in our note head. We are drawing the stem up, and we are adding our little pretty flag up at the end, because our dotted quarter note is 1.5 beats and our eighth note is a half beat. So that equals 4 in that measure. Moving on to a really easy measure. Measure number 4 in the second half of Jingle Bells. We are just drawing a whole note. You're welcome. I wish I could take credit for that, but anyway, that makes it easier. Okay, I just wanted to take a look at the first half of Jingle Bells so we can compare it. The first measure with our first measure of the second half, our second measure with the second measure of our second half, on to our third measure. If you notice that it looks exactly the same, you would be correct. Look at that, it's exactly the same. So we're doing the same exact pattern on our fifth measure as we do in our first half of Jingle Bells. I hope that helps. Okay, let's do this. We are going to draw 2 quarter notes in the C space. Don't forget F-A-C-E, starting at the bottom. That's how you remember the notes. So you're drawing 2 quarter notes in the C space. Make sure those stems are going down. And then after that, just like on the measure you can see right above, we're having the same pattern as far as the rhythms go, not the notes, but the rhythms. We're going to have a dotted quarter note in the C space. That again makes it sound more like a song because the rhythms are similar. You have to have those patterns. Okay, you're drawing that dot, and then we are going to draw an eighth note right here, just like we did right above, but in the C space again. Okay? And all of these rhythms equal 4 in this measure. Because you're going to have an eighth note right here, that's a half of a beat. Then you have the dotted quarter note, which is 1.5 beats, and then each quarter note is 1 beat. So if you add that together, and I wasn't great in math, that equals 4. Okay, we're moving on to our sixth measure. It's the same as our sixth measure on the first half of Jingle Bells. The exact same. So we're starting with a quarter note in the C space. Then we are going to move down to our B line again, because again, we love B's in Jingle Bells. Okay, I have to fix this note head. It is driving me nuts. That looks almost better, except for the blue eraser lines that are there now from my blue eraser. Oh, see, it doesn't have to be perfect, guys. It just has to be done. As long as you're learning, it doesn't matter. Oh, I gotta fix that stem too. Oh, yeah, you love me. Okay, moving on to our B line again, because we love B's and Jingle Bells. You are gonna hear that so many times. You're so sick of it now, but it's in your brain, so I don't care. And then again, another quarter note on the B line. And then you are adding 2 eighth notes side by side on the B line. And instead, sorry, I gotta fix these. Note heads, fill them in a little bit more. So instead of having the 2 separate flags on your eighth notes, you are going to connect the 2 stems like little friends, because that helps me remember. And hopefully it helps you remember too. Okay, guess what? We have 2 more measures to go. That is it. And these are the 2 measures that are completely different than the first half of Jingle Bells. On our second half, this 7th measure, we are drawing a quarter note on the D line. This makes it different from our very first verse. So actually we are drawing 2 D quarter notes. And then we are drawing, 2 more quarter notes, one on the C space. Remember F-A-C-E, from bottom to top. And the stem is going down on the C quarter note. And then for our final note in our 7th measure, we are drawing an A quarter note. In that second space, that's where our A is. Making sure our stem goes up this time. And then finally, for our very final measure, we are adding a whole note to end the song. We are drawing a G whole note. Remember, every good bird does fly, starting from the bottom, going to the top to help you remember the names of the lined notes. Just in case your brain isn't entirely mush, we are going to talk about the last two measures of the first half of Jingle Bells and the second half. One horse open sleigh goes from low to high. Sleigh. The last two measures go from high to low. One horse open sleigh. 1, 2, 3, 4. Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle